Jeremy White podcast. Tuesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific.
Available wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, my next guests are a part of a brand new group, and they're making some badass pop and roll. And I like to call it pop and roll because, I mean, it's kind of what it is, right?
Cool, man.
The brand new album's coming out on May 14th. You can pre-order it now wherever music is sold. They got a couple of great new singles out as well, featuring Steve Perry with The Legendary Journey. We're going to get to all that. Welcome, Josh, Jules, and Trev from LEVARA.
Hey, what's up, Jeremy?
Hey, what's up? Okay, so I just got so much stuff I want to get to. First of all, I was just cracking up at your big debut on KLOS. That didn't really pan out. Like, how does that even happen? Like, you know, the jock has one job.
I know, man. I guess it was pre-recorded because literally when it was going down, Pinfield called me because I was just like, obviously I posted the video and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, and why the video even cut out is because Pinfield called me and he was just like, man, I don't know what happened because the show's pre-recorded. So he couldn't do anything about it. And I just started laughing. I'm like, dude, of course, the whole show runs smoothly. Our debut goes south.
Yeah.
But, you know, man, I believe everything happens for a reason, man. And the story is totally worth you know, I mean,
yeah.
I've been crying about it ever since. So
imagine that. You're just like, fuck, I do a really good Angus Young.
Oh, man. You know, they are going to debut it this Sunday, so we are going to get our debut, but it was definitely, it was worth the laugh, man.
See, that's the problem. You're going to KLOS. You should go to Kiss FM and say, get JoJo on the radio to play that. He won't mess that up.
Hey, man, it's a good story, you know? It's definitely a great story. And hey, next week, tune in, you'll hear Black Sabbath.
Yeah. Next week, the brand new single from Van Halen and LEVARA, you know?
Or Highway to Hell, you know, we might go down the AC/DC greatest hit.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey,
we should play Highway to Hell before our song. That'll actually close in the circle nicely.
That's a good build-up. I mean, you know, a lot of bands start concerts with Highway to Hell is like the tune playing before the curtain drops, so could work.
Yeah.
So talk about this new music before we get to all like this really cool stuff. So it's like, you know, let me ask you, you guys at this point are seasoned musicians where, you know, Trev, your dad is who he is. You know, Josh, you've toured the world 1D, and Jules, I mean, come on. It's so funny. Trev, I interviewed your dad a couple of months ago, and he described Jules as Jesus that can sing. And now I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah, kind of got that look, you know?
Who said Jesus didn't know how to sing, man?
I know, man.
That's it. He came back for something, clearly. So, you know, with all the people that you could potentially work with on this music, why Steve Perry?
Well, I've known Steve forever, man, like 13, 14 years we've been friends. And Steve loves new music and up and coming bands. And, you know, he's always been a great mentor to me. And when we started this band, I really wanted him to meet Jules because Jules' vocals are so insane. And, you know, I just feel they would get along, and I feel he would really love the music we're doing. So I called him and reached out and I said, here's the address to the studio. If you want to come by, come by. We're here from like 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And
nice.
And he showed up, man, and got along with everybody. And then he came in the next day, and then he's throwing out like harmonies, and we're like, that sounds great. He says, I'll just lay him down, and we're all like, what? And
all right, yeah.
I mean,
that shit was funny where he was like, you just said, he's coming in for the, you know, he's just going to come and hang for the day. Just, you know, he loves hanging around studios. And then we're all leaving. He goes, same time tomorrow? It's like, okay.
Yeah.
This is
absolutely.
He was a big part of the album, man. I mean, he was hanging out for most days, and his energy was so great, and he was loving what Jules was doing, and him and Jules like singing together, and all of us singing together, and you know, them going back and forth with like some like, you know, throwaway vocal ideas and just some of that classic Journey shit. But
he felt so involved, right? He felt like he was kind of like back in his days. Like he would tell us like, this reminds me of when like we were making, you know, this song or that song, being in the studio with the boys. Is like, that's what I love. the most, you know, and he found that with us. So it was, I mean,
that's
beyond
sort of like,
fantastic.
yeah, like that creative process that, you know, like, okay, so it was almost like nostalgic for him in a way, back in a studio working with a band properly. And because to be fair, he hadn't really done that for a while.
Yeah, and he kind of exactly what Jules said. He was throwing out saying, man, it reminds me of being in a band again. And yeah, we got a taste of what it was like to make an album with Steve Perry. And man, it was great, man. It was fun. And he helped me a lot with my guitar solos. You know, he wanted to make sure all my solos were as strong and melodic as possible. And it was a lot of fun, man. I mean, for the most part, he took what I already originally had and just morphed a couple things. And definitely Chameleon was a big Steve Perry solo moment, building that from scratch. So yeah, it was just an epic experience with all of us and him, man.
Well, that's interesting, though. So talk to me about being basically produced by Steve Perry in this sense, because, you know, I mean, your dad's one of the greatest guitarists of all time. And then also, you know, Steve worked with Neil Schon. So it's like, what does Steve say to you? Like, oh, you know, it needs to be singable. It needs to be this. It needs to be that. You know, like, how does he get you into that vibe of creating, you know, a good guitar solo?
Well, he heard what I originally did, and he's like, man, that's great. Maybe this note we can go there, or this part we could just try to go for this, and we would test it out. Like, I would just obviously test out whatever he was thinking, and sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't, but most of the time it worked. And it was kind of funny because then, you know, all those classic Journey solos with Neil Schon, you know, it's like just the legendary solos. And I truly feel now, after working with Perry, that he had a lot to do with those solos. I mean, no offense to Neil, but like,
no, we can take offense to Neil. It's fine.
Well, yeah, Neil kind of threw some dig at me on Twitter or whatever about the Chameleon solo.
Dude,
but
Neil Schon's always starting shit online, so that's why, like, every opportunity I get to say a little something about Neil Schon, I'm like, go for it, just go for it.
I mean, I love Neil. I'm a huge fan of his. He's one of my favorite guitar players. I didn't even respond to it, you know. You know, it's just, it is what it is, and it's not our drama, man. You know, so whatever, you know, I was happy to work with Steve on the solos, and I do not regret 1 second or one note of it, man. You know,
hell no.
Yeah.
It's funny, actually. I distinctly remember you doing, I can't remember what solo it was, Trev, but I remember him going, I'm just hearing this note, and just hits this like supersonic high pitched note. Literally like
fucking tea kettle, you know.
Oh.
Jeez,
he really like the pedal, man.
It's like shit. Can we just sample his voice for that?
Yeah, you should have.
Through his string.
I mean,
it was pretty
those ridiculous high.
He could still sing really, really well, and it was pretty clear that, you know, he's like, as long as you can sing it, you've got yourself a solo. You know, that's kind of like where he comes from, you know, and like Trev said, not to talk smack about Neil or anything, but hey, I'm not a guitar player, so I can kind of say more things, I guess. But it's pretty clear that he sang the most epic solos with Neil, and he was there to remind him, hey, you played that in the beginning, play it again, you know, like less shredding. We need to be able to memorize this thing, just like it's a voice, you know. And he was pretty clear about that, and he is the voice. But even in guitar solos, like, the voice is still there. So that was I thought that was a great lesson.
Even if you listen to the solo and like Don't Stop Believing, like the and then the
there you go,
like the way he goes up, like that's I could totally see Steve sitting there saying, Neil, you should do this, and like almost like directing that.
Yeah, and like the Who's Crying Now solo too. He was telling a story about.
Oh, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, and then letting Neil go off and do a little bit of Neil licks and kind of get a little shred moment, and then going right back to the
right. Well, what I thought was great with Steve, Trev, is that like he never took away the Trev from the solos. You know, whenever he was singing. It's like if he could playing with you, like, oh, try that or whatever. You know, it was like going back and forth between you two. Yeah. And he never took the Trev out of it. He was like, I love this. Like, for what? For Automatic, he was like, great. I don't have to do anything for that.
Yeah, and also for no one above you, he's like, can't touch that.
Yeah.
There were a lot of solos he's like, I don't even want to touch. And there were some solos, like in particular, the one he was really involved in as well was Can't Get Over. I had an original solo. He's like, I feel it could be better. And and I got there with him like ass crack at dawn pretty much before the guys showed up. And there's actually video. I got to post this video of like of Jules and Josh coming in and like hearing the solo for the first time, the complete new solo. And Josh, you get up, Josh, and you hug me, and you're like, you know, and it was just
cool...
dude.
It was like weirdly, because the first solo wasn't bad at all, but this one just kicked 7 shades of shit into that one. It was insane.
Right. Nice.
So he pushed me. He pushed me because, you know, he calls it front row licks, and it's like, you know, he asked me when I first met him, and I started to try to shred solo, and he says, "Let me ask you a question. Do you want guys in the front row or do you want girls in the front row?" And I'm 20, 21. I'm like, "Girls, man." He says, "Then don't do that. You know, don't shred. Sing with your guitar."
Yeah.
And, you know, he says that guitar is a voice. Use it. And that always stuck with me. And I'm not a shredder guitar player, so I'm all about solos with melody, you know. And our songs are very melodic. Our songs are very anthemic, and the you know, guitar solos have to match that.
Yeah, well, that's what I like about the tunes. You know, the first time I heard it, you know, it's like I played it for a couple of buddies, and you know, the first song I heard was Chameleon, and like the fact that I could see an arena singing a chameleon, like I could actually, you know, see like a Def Leppard concert, you know, it's like it's got an arena sound to it. I love music that sounds like an arena. So, you know, was that kind of the intention going into this project, to try and make it sound as big as possible? Because if you listen to the rock music, and I talk about this with a lot of rock guys, the rock stuff is very 70s stripped down, organic sounding records. Whereas now you guys are leaning into, you know, almost like the Def Leppard kind of sound, where it's like that late 80s, big production, big produced, big guitars, awesome thick ass drums, big vocals. You know, is that the kind of sound that you guys came together and said, we need to do this? Or, you know, what was the plan creating this music?
It's like, you know, you want to dress, you know, you dress for the job you want. We made music with premonition that these will be played in arenas, and that's where this is going to sing the best. And I mean, the stuff we make, we would genuinely listen to ourselves. We're not trying to fit anyone's quota. We're just kind of doing what we love, and it just so happens to sound like this. And
also it's very hard not to do really big sounding music with you on drums, Josh, and with Trev on guitar. So it is also kind of just, we sound big because that's our sound. That's like how we play, and that's how we write, you know, together. It is, like you said, like premonitory, like you were like, oh, this is definitely going to be played in stadiums, let's go even there, you know, like beyond arenas. But it's also because we do sound like that, like just genuinely, you know.
We also had the intention of every song having group vocals. We wanted to have moments for the crowd, because when we do play and we get to play shows again, you know, you want to involve the crowd. You want them to feel a part of the show. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you know, you take a song like Chameleon.
And Jules, got to say, with your solo,
hold on, the connection just went terrible.
And Jules just really has that, you know,
that kind of sound. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. You're good now.
I was saying, you know, and I got to throw some love at Jules too, man, with his vocals over what the music, you know, with Josh and I. It's really just, we were laughing, man. I mean, we were really like, we didn't really go into the studio with any kind of intention other than let's make the best album we can make. And we locked ourselves away for a couple of months prior to making the album, and wrote every day, and really just pushed ourselves to the point where when we got in there, we were surprising ourselves, I think, every day of the recording process.
Chameleon was the big surprise, right? That was
That was a last minute tune. That was supposed to be like you know, we had to do 4 extra songs or something, and we wrote that one in the studio, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Now, I mean, talking about the big arena stadium sound, it's like, you know, even if you go and do a breakdown with just drums in the middle, like doom, blah, doo, doo, with like the chameleon, like it could totally be like, you know, the hands clapping kind of vibe moment.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome.
Oh yeah, when you close your eyes, listen to that, like that's what I see all the time. I just can't wait to be like on stage and just freaking playing and singing with with the guys and with everybody, so.
So then, how do you guys pull this off live? I mean, it's three. You guys gonna hire a bassist and a keyboard? Are you gonna hire the laptop? Like, what's the plan?
I mean, we've definitely got a lot of stems and stuff that just sounds we probably can't naturally make. So there'll be a lot of cool tech stuff going on. But
awesome.
Yeah, we'll definitely we've got a lot of friends that
a
are
bass
very
player for sure.
Musicians.
Yeah.
So
sure.
I reckon.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good. We'll make it an experience. That's for sure.
Well, let me ask you this, Josh, because there's a lot of stuff going on in the production sounds and everything on the stuff. As a drummer, it must be cool to be able to go in, have all the sequence stuff, and then, go in and lay down some tracks with like actual drums. And, I feel like it's a really creative kind of thing going on over here.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's funny for a lot of, for some of the tracks anyway, we did a load of production when writing them. So we kind of mapped it out. I actually did I stuck a lot of just MIDI drums underneath my stuff on some of the tunes, and just, it's just an interesting way of doing it. That's how I grew up making music. Was I'd get on a keyboard and just play some chords and then just sequence a load of stuff. That's where everything would kind of sound a little bit more kind of sequence, a little bit more hip hop sounding, and then I'd drum over the top of it. That was just how I cut my teeth as a kid. Like, I just enjoyed making beats and making things like that. So it was cool to do some of that on this. And then there's a couple of cool overdub moments for me where we could throw in some extra toms and get in a big long hallway and stick mics on either side and really try different things out. So yeah, it was good.
Wow.
That was so cool when you did the extra toms in the hallway, for that sound, for that like long hall kind of sound. It was fucking epic.
Yeah, you guys are doing cool, like analog kind of recording techniques as well, not just throw a reverb plug-in on there. You were doing some fun stuff in the studio,
dude. Real. So I mean, the drum room itself sounded amazing, and Ethan, our producer, was a whiz with everything. He's like, man, we should stick a mic like right at the end of the hallway, and then you should just play the biggest tom you have, and just sit there and play it, and then play the rims of the tom, and it worked. And it's stuff that you wouldn't even know was there. But if you take it out, I've got all the tracks. If you just take one of them out, suddenly there's a huge void. And you're like, oh man, it's amazing how much this stuff isn't that audible, but really makes a difference.
It really does fill up the sound in a way. It's like you said, you're recording those toms in that hallway with, the organic sound of the room. If you had done that with just a plug-in, it probably wouldn't have the same vibe, same kind of space fillingness to it. There's something cool about that organic sound that helps just fill it up. So
man, natural room mics on anything makes such a difference. I mean, I've got some cool stuff in the box to make cool sounding room mics. Never beats the real thing. Doesn't matter how much money you pay for it. It will never beat the real thing, mic'd well. And luckily, Ethan knew his stuff, man. He definitely pushed us in that way as well, which is good.
Trev, did you use real amps on this, or were you using a Kemper, or like going the digital route?
No, definitely used real amps. I think it's Division 12 and Bogner, and I had like 40 pedals laying on the floor.
At least.
Yeah. At least. Stan over at Fender makes all the pedals now, and he just brought over every single one he made. And I had a bunch extra from what I had, and we just laid them all out. And every song, that was the thing. It was like this whole album was such an experimental experience, because every song I didn't, as far as the guitars go, I didn't really have, I just wanted to see what was best. So Ethan and I sat for hours going through what pedal would work for whatever song, but still keep it cohesive. So it was really it was an experience, man, building the wall of guitars on this record.
Yeah. Hey, dude, you should have got your dad to break out one of his old 80s racks with like the SD 3000s and all that stuff. That would have been hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know, man. I don't know what those are. Maybe it's in his storage and collecting some serious dust, but yeah, I mean, I didn't think about it.
Dude, that stuff, man, it's vintage classic. You can't beat that, especially with this kind of music. It'd be awesome to have that
gear. It explodes, and then all of a sudden it's my fault.
Yeah. Hey, hey Trev, you owe me 45 grand, bro.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's like, I'm good. I'll just use I'll use what I got.
Like, guys, Trev literally burnt down the studio.
Exactly.
And wait, Jules, so let me ask you this. What voice did you use on this album?
I have like 5 different throats at home, and I just kind of, yeah.
Nice. It's like the Iron Man heart, you know, you just got interchangeable, like.
Exactly. It's all robotic. It's all, it's all auto-tune. It's fake. It's not even
nice.
me.
You can't beat auto-tune and fake. Come on. It's the industry. Oh, man, this is great. LEVARA's big album coming out on May 14th. To get it now, wherever music is sold, pre-order, download. Are you guys doing the vinyl thing? You guys going to do like 180 gram,
Oh, yeah.
LP? Oh, yeah.
Dude, our vinyl is going to be it's a collective. It's collectible, whatever you say. The collectible. It's going to be light, like blue. The actual wax, the actual vinyl is going to be light blue.
Nice.
And our packaging is just, beautiful. And we have like this whole package inside with all the lyrics and, and all the people that we hold dear that helped us and everything. And so, like, if you really want to get the full experience, get the vinyl for sure.
I love
everything.
Vinyl.
Sounds better on vinyl.
Everybody's putting out vinyl. These like reissuing. Like, I'll grab this one. Hold on, I got one here. It's like this one's from Whitesnake, and it's like, it's got like an embossed like cover on the top, and it's got fold, and it's got this sexy, pussy red vinyl. It's like, look at that.
Oh yeah,
on,
there you go.
I like
the
that.
I would run from that pussy, but
I was just about to say the same thing. I was like, dude, you do not want to see that. Run the other way, my brother.
Oh, this is awesome. I don't know how much time we have. Are you guys like in a rush to get out of here, or?
Of course. No, I'm just kidding. No, man, we're
hanging with we don't have anywhere else to go.
Cool. I got a couple more questions.
Talk to me. Please, Jeremy, talk to me.
I will talk to you. You guys seem like deprived of attention. I will totally give it all to you.
Hanging in my kitchen, for God's sake. Talk to me.
Wait, so I want to talk to Josh about a couple of things. So, Josh, I saw you, out of the three of you guys, I've seen you live, actually, like in person. Like,
oh, no way.
Yeah, you played at the Montreal Olympic Stadium with One Direction like a couple of years ago. And it was one of the...
No way.
Dude, to this day, like, I've been to the Justin Biebers. That was loud. I went to Motorhead. That was the loudest concert I've ever been to. One Direction was fucking deafening.
Yeah, it was insane.
It was, dude, it was insanity. It was like...
And it was nothing to do with us on stage. It was all to do with the, 85,000 people in the crowd that just screamed. Yeah,
dude, the crowd was just insanity. It's like... does that affect your performance on stage though? Like, I mean, you guys are running in ears and everything, but it's like, does any of that distract you ever?
No. I mean, it would distract.
Calling. Hold on. Somebody's trying to call me. Fuck off. Yeah,
go. Your mom will call
Yeah.
No, it just meant I couldn't have certain mics on in my ears, so I couldn't have any of their vocal mics on. Just purely down to the delay in the screens. And then I couldn't have my overheads on my drums up very loud. Otherwise, it would just pick up all the ambient noise. But apart from that, no. We'd play in places like Japan. And you finish a song and it would be that deafening scream and then it's silent. And then they just sit there really patiently and just listen to what you're saying. So like that was the time when I was like, oh, this is strange. I'm not used to this. But then, you go to South America and it's like, you couldn't even hear yourself talk or I couldn't even hear myself drumming and I had that cranked like hell in my ears. So no, it's cool. It just boosts you, man. When you see that many people going hysterically nuts, it just makes you want to give it 110% more than the 110 you already give. So it was good.
Yeah. How did you get that gig in the first place? Was it like an open audition kind of thing and you just kind of showed up with, got Sticks Will Travel or?
No, it was through word of mouth through a friend. This guy, Chris Leonard, absolute legend, just kind of asked me one day, hey, do you fancy being on TV? And I just thought it was a one night only kind of thing. So I just did this TV show with them and first time on TV. And yeah, just kind of blew from there. I got asked to an audition, like a private audition with like 10 other people, I think it was.
Nice.
Yeah, and then kind of blew up, went crazy. And yeah, still, it's like a whirlwind, man.
Did
I was like, oh, this is crazy.
Did either of you guys ever get to see Josh like in the stadiums with One Direction or?
No,
No.
I met Josh after the fact.
Mm.
Yeah,
You know,
probably a couple years after, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would have gone to support him if I knew him, but like, it wasn't like I was like looking at Ticketmaster for One Direction.
It's
Right.
I mean, I would have probably seen you from like you. It could have been 90,000 people, and I probably would have spotted you somewhere because you would have been towering over everybody. Like just usually at any of those shows, like you can always tell who the dads are and who's been dragged there by their girlfriends, because it's always the guy standing there moping, and they always start like this, and they're like, yeah, whatever, and then by the end of it, they're like, Harry, it's crazy.
Right. But you know what? I fucking hate that because it's like, you know what? You're getting invited to a concert. You're going to see a show. It's like, go have some fun. Like, I got a couple of books that, like, you know, I work in radio and, like, I get tickets to, like, all kinds of, like, crazy shit. And I go to it all because I love it all. And I'll invite a buddy. You know, we went to see, like, what did we go see? We went to see the Chainsmokers. And he's like, oh, fuck this, you know, bullshit dance music. And we're standing at the back.
Dude, they're good.
Dude, so we go, and it was like the best Kiss concert I ever been to. It was like, you know, the pyro, and the drummer was insane. Like, it was fucking awesome.
Yeah, he's brilliant. Dude, I mean, there's some weird people, man, that go to these things. I remember seeing a guy had his iPhone headphones, and this is back when they had wires. And he was front row, and it must have been a theater show, like 2,000 people. And he's just standing there on his phone. His girlfriend's next to him going nuts. Front row. And I remember one of the boys stopped the show and just said, hey, man. Oh, sorry, I had a phone call. He just said, oh, hey, man, what are you listening to? And the guy was like,
Oh, we lost him.
Josh Devine left. That was such a great exit.
That was
like it was always perfectly on time.
That was awesome.
Wow.
Shit. Oh, well, Jules, listen, you got a kid coming up. You know, it's like, how is that going to affect the music going forward? Are you going to start writing tunes about being a dad, or is it still going to be?
Definitely, we'll have more songs of devotion and unconditional love. But I'm not sure how to answer that question. I think it's going to be amazing, and it's going to, you know, shape me up to be the best version of myself and keep me grounded when you know, everything that I've ever dreamed of happens. And you know, it could easily take you slingshot to the moon and never come back. But I think having a strong family support, and now my own family is gonna make it better. You know, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah,
that's what I want to create. You know what I mean?
It's crazy, you know, like a lot of my friends are having kids now and stuff. Like, I'm 26 and I'm just like, oh God, you guys are having kids. I can barely take care of myself, let alone I can't be somebody's daddy. You know, it's like,
that's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought too.
You know,
we'll see how it goes. I mean, that's the thing. It's like when you're in it, there's so much love that you're just gonna step up to the responsibilities, and I think love will carry you there. You know, not to sound all too lovey-dovey, but that's what it is, right? So
look at you getting all sentimental. I like it.
Rock and roll.
Awesome. What about you, Trev? You got kids in the works, or what's your deal?
Well, I'm engaged. I mean, I definitely want kids, and you know, I'm probably in a couple years. I mean, we're getting married at the end of 2022, so I think I want to get right to it. You know, I definitely want to be a dad, man, for sure.
Nice.
So you know, I'll just be Aunt Trev to Kaya, you know. So
yes,
until then, it'll be a nice little
Aunt Trev
training grounds.
Nice. You know? That's not terrible. That's not a bad thing, you know. Look at that. I like that this turned into like, you know, like 14-year-old cool magazine. So are you guys gonna have babies, or like, you know? Hilarious. Hey, Josh, you know, a couple more One Direction questions before I go, because it's super fascinating to me. So, you know, you read stories about Motley Crue back in the day and Bon Jovi, you know, chicks, booze and blow backstage, all kinds of good time. You know, what was the vibe backstage like at those gigs? Like, was it like a business, like, was it a business thing, or was it like a cool, fun time to be there?
Both. It started off carnage. Like, it started off as crazy as you'd imagine. And then the bigger it got, the more bodies get involved, the more space and separation there is between everything and everyone. And yeah, it became more of a, backstage was, you know, more of a business. But I mean, it's how you would imagine, but it's never how you imagine. Like it's, you know, everyone thinks, oh, it's all this and that. It's never like that, but it's fun. It was good.
Yeah.
It was definitely a fun time. And I mean, I was a kid, I was like 19, 20, and it all blew my mind too early. Like I still don't really understand any of it. So it was kind of great.
Do you still talk to any of the guys at all, or?
Very seldomly. Every so often there's just, you know, everyone's very busy kicking ass and doing their own thing. So
yeah, you know,
all power to it, man.
With the whole hiatus thing and everything, it's like, you know, as a you know, a touring, you know, like an employee at that point, you know, does it come as a shock to you? Like, okay, guys, you know, tour's over, that's it. We're not going back out. Look for something new.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it coming a mile off probably a good year before, and that's when I was like, right, I need to figure out what am I going to do. So obviously I moved to Los Angeles, and as soon as the tour finished, moved out to LA and said, right, I'm going to find my tribe of people and find my band. And that's what I've, you know, been very, very blessed to have found these two guys. And now, you know, the great thing is, or at least the hard thing is for a musician, especially coming from here, I live in a small town, usually in the UK. And it's like to find anyone with the same drive, the same passion to want to do what you want to do is so hard. So to actually be in a huge city full of incredibly talented people and find the two people you're meant to be was, you know, you can't even write that. Like, it's crazy. So yeah, I'm very, very fortunate.
Did the three of you find each other on like musicians Tinder? Come on.
Wasn't it Grindr? I can't remember.
Yep, that one.
Musicthreesome.com.
That was a thing. I'd be all over it. Come on.
No, I mean, we met, Josh and I met through a mutual engineer friend and at his birthday, and we knew of each other, and we got along great. We were actually both looking for an apartment at the same time. So we ended up being roommates for a few years. Nice. And we bumped into Jules all the time at these jam circuit hangs in Hollywood, where Jules would go up and sing his ass off. And I always thought Jules was a beast, and didn't really know much about, I didn't think that he was, I didn't know he would even be into doing something like a rock thing. Mm-hmm. But then I, you know, came across a video of him on Instagram where he went to the high register and sounded like, you know, Axl Rose, you know, Robert Plant, Miles Kennedy shit. And I was like, Josh, check this out. When Josh and I were thinking about, you know, doing something, and we hit up Jules, and Jules was into it. And we didn't plan on making it a band. It was just kind of one of those things. We all had our own thing going on, and it was just something to do for fun. But I guess that's when you get the best stuff, is when you're like loose and you're like, hey, let's just, you know, whatever happens. There's no commitment. Let's just have some fun. And we knew the chemistry was so deep off the bat, and here we are like 3 years later, you know?
Yeah, I feel like, you know, as big as the music scene in LA could possibly be, I also feel like it's a bit of a small town in a sense, because there's good players, there's meh players, yeah, and there's like, oh, there's the dreamer coming from buttfuck Idaho to come and try and
it's very clicky, you know, you have your circles.
Interesting.
I feel all the people really doing it and really like making moves know of each other, you know. I really truly believe that. You know, when a name comes up, either I've met them before, I've heard of them, you know, or they vice versa with me. So when you're doing it and you're working at it and you're killing it and you're really great, your name gets around.
Yeah. And if I guess if you ask somebody like, hey, do you know so-and-so? And they're like, no, I never heard of them. Not getting the gig.
I mean, not always. I mean, hey, there's some insanely talented, undiscovered people that, you know, you're walking around NAMM, and suddenly this like 6-year-old jumps on a drum kit and starts shredding harder than seasoned professionals, and you're like, oh, okay, you're going to be someone. Like that's for sure, you know. So there's always a lot of up and coming. But Trev's right, man. You don't stay undiscovered if you've not got the gift, you know. And so many people in LA, unfortunately, go there with the dream for whatever reason. It's not that they haven't got the talent; it just doesn't happen for whatever reason, financially or whatever. So, you know, it's the people that manage to stick it out, you know, manage to get the gig. So it's a beautiful thing and a soul crushing thing at the same time.
Yeah. And, you know, I think it also helps to be sexy beasts, because all three of you are very good looking dudes. So that'll take you apart too. As David Lee Roth used to say, it's not what you're like, it's how you look doing it.
Ooh.
I love
He
that.
said a few things like that.
Yeah, right. Classic
Some
quote.
stuff.
I love it, man. Well, listen, this is fun. Brand new album comes out May 14th, the big debut record. Get it on vinyl. It's going to be on vinyl. So, listen, guys, you've said it all. This is a great first chat. This is
man. Thanks for having us.
meet you dudes. So
It was a pleasure.
Thanks, buddy.
So leading up to this album coming out, can we expect to see you guys do any performance videos? You may be planning a live stream of sorts. Is there going to be a way to see you guys actually perform these tunes before the album comes out? Maybe some TV appearances or some online stuff?
Well, I come back to the States in April. We're not releasing our album until May.
Yeah.
So we've definitely got some time to put some cool things in the works. That's for sure.
Yeah. It must be fucking weird, to go through with this world right now, and it's like trying to be a band and get something going, and it's it kind of really does. Aside from possibly dying, it does throw a wrench in the spokes,
We had a tour for early summer. We were going to go out and do it, and then obviously things, this happens, and we made the album over a year ago, so. It's already over a year since we made it, and we, obviously all the plans were going to be like we would release this record like early summer of this past summer.
Yeah.
But now we have to just kind of reschedule everything and go where the wind takes us, man. And we're definitely going to play as many gigs as possible because we got to get this record heard, and a lot of hustle to do that. Like it's really tough nowadays, especially being a new band. You have to just hustle your ass off and do whatever you got to do for people to hear the song once, and hopefully they dig it and tell their friends about it,
Well, listen, guys, I've heard the shit, and it's good shit. So I think if people hear it, they're gonna fall in love with it.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
We feel the same way. We just need it to be heard. That's it. It's heard. People will dig it. It's just, how do we get it to be heard? And so thank you for being a part of that, Jeremy.
You get it heard by getting the pre-recorded radio show to actually play the right track. That's how you get it heard.
Big truth right there.
Well, there you go. LEVARA, brand new records coming out on May 14th. Pre-order it now, and the 3 singles are currently available. The latest one, Automatic. It's got a ton of views already. Getting a whole lot of traction, lots of attention. Go and support these good dudes. They're good dudes. So this is great. Thanks a lot for chatting, guys.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks for having us, brother.
Thank you.
All right. We'll chat
Take
soon.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
Ciao.